You're good to go.
All right, well, welcome everybody to the Awesome Dynamic Show. It's our weekly webinar where we like to help people with their website and online presence. Want to answer some questions for you, and we'd like to have you involved in it. So you can type in some questions for us, and we will go ahead and respond to them. Every week we like to feature a couple of our clients or potential clients. We have a couple we're going to do today, but first we want to make sure we get around and introduce ourselves. I'm Terry Levin. I am the Director of Sales for Awesome Dynamics, and I want to first go to our president, Paul.
Thank you, Terry. This is Paul DeWarian with Awesome Dynamic, the president and owner. This week, I'm glad to have Terry lead the Awesome Dynamic show. I'm not going to be attending next Thursday. I'm going to be driving to Florida. So I don't think I'll be able to facilitate the webinar from the car very well with a spotty internet connection on the road. But leave it in the capable hands of Terry, Robin, and Blake, and we're also going to have my brother Tim in to help direct the action behind the scenes. So I look forward to your questions today, and we're also looking forward to taking a look at a couple websites. With that being said, Robin, you're up.
Hello, I'm Robin. I do the search engine optimization. My favorite food is probably pistachios.
Oh, really?
Maybe avocados, who knows? But yeah, search engine optimization is really important for your website so you can get higher up on Google and beat out your competitors. And here's Blake.
Hello, folks. My name's Blake Tintori. I work on the SEO side with Robin, and I assist Paul with the Amazon side as well. And I also am the show note aficionado. So back to you, Terry.
All right, well, thanks, everybody. So we want to start off, I know, Robin, if you could get us onto our homepage so we can sort of talk about what we do.
Back to you, Terry.
Sure.
All right, well, thanks, everybody. So we want to start off, I know, Robin, if you could
Hey,
get us
Terry, you could just close that window. That's fine. The extra window where that noise was coming from.
Okay.
That was probably the second screen
Yeah.
that I had you open. Sorry, Terry.
All right, let's try that again. So what we want to do is go to our homepage so we can talk about some of our services that we are offering up. So is Robin going to put us onto her screen and do the homepage? Is that where we're going?
I did, Terry. So right now everyone can see Robin's screen, so I got that going.
Got it. So as you'll see here, we start off by doing responsive web design. So these are mobile-friendly sites that will look good on your big monitor as well as all the way down to your tablet and your smartphone. Want to remind everybody that about 60% of all searches these days are on a tablet or a smartphone. So if your website doesn't accommodate those, people are going to leave your site and go elsewhere. So we can take care of that for you. Search engine optimization. Once you have a great website, we need to get people to your website. We have many different options to help you do that and make sure that you're getting a lot of traffic, which turns into leads, which turns into new business for you. Also, we are Amazon Seller Consulting. We do Amazon Seller Consulting as well as distribution on Amazon to help people get their products on Amazon. A lot of times people come to us looking to sell on their website. In most cases, our recommendation is to get on Amazon, and we can help you do that because Amazon has millions of customers waiting for you and looking for products. So it's a good way to get started right away and get some business going pretty quickly and maybe less expensively than going through the process of getting customers to your website and having an e-commerce site. Then we also talk about our Google virtual tours, which will allow you, and we're seeing one up here now, which will allow you to have people preview your business, get a good look inside, walk in right off the street and have a look at what's going on in there, get an idea what it looks like, the size of the business, and what they can expect when they get there. Also a really good way, pardon me, to boost your SEO by having one of those, because if your competition doesn't, and you do, you're going to get quite a nice boost from that. So, Robin, did I miss anything?
If you find this webinar interesting and helpful for your business, we would just ask that you leave us a Google review at the bottom here by just going to the bottom and pressing Review Us. Or if you want to know some more info, just go ahead and get on our email list, and we will let you know any updates from Google, any changes. We have a blog that's written all the time on major changes that Google does. So that's definitely where to get the latest news. And you can join our future webinars or look at any of our past webinars.
Beautiful. And then we also have some event information up at the top. There's an event tab, and that'll give you some idea of some of the seminars and things that we're doing as well. All right. So we wanted to get started today. We hope to have John on the line from Nelvin and Schroeder, and we are going to take a little look at his website today. And I thought maybe it would be great if Blake would be able to start us off and tell us what he thinks of it.
Okay, so I am nothing wrong with links on the left side, but I think centering the home, about us, licensing, contact us links would be more appropriate in the center these days. It is nice that you do have a name, address, and phone number in the top right corner for easy access upon initial entry to the website. Your copyright date seems to be a year old, which not the end of the world, but does not look current. That would be nice to be auto-updated. We provide a script that can do that automatically for you each year, so you don't have to. The color scheme is not bad, but it almost has a 90s feel to it. I don't know why, it kind of does. If you could click the contact us page for me, please. Gracias. Ooh, okay, we do have an embedded Google map, which is quite well. I do not see a contact form, so if I was coming to this site and I wanted to quickly ask you a question, it would be beneficial to have a contact form where I could just enter my name, my phone number, and a small note for you. And it is nice that you do provide an email and a phone number, however.
This is great. Blake won't know this, but Superdog is like a huge landmark. So everyone knows where Superdog is. So that's
okay.
a good personalized direction. Google actually ranks you higher than if you have national competitors. If you put a little anecdote like that, that's very personalized and local.
And it's good to know because next time we see John, we're going to ask him to bring us some Superdog.
Nice. If someone could click licensing for me, I'd like to check out that page really quick. Okay. Well, this is a decent service page. However, I'd like to see some pictures on here to give it a more, not homey, but I guess personalized feel. And something that maybe either make me smile or feel more comfortable when I'm on this page, something that's enticing, something that makes me draw my eye almost as if it was written like a magazine.
This is actually, there's no service pages. This is actually just a privacy statement. So they're an insurance agency.
Ah, I see. Okay.
So they are missing service pages.
Lacking service pages then. So we do need some service pages.
We don't know what you do.
Correct, besides the title in the top left. So I do apologize about that, and thank you, Robin.
I mean, he really has a list on the homepage of those things, but definitely he needs an individual page for each different type of insurance. And we can explain maybe to him why that would be so important.
Absolutely. Those 6 insurance needs should each have their own service page with anywhere from 300 to 600 words, some beautiful pictures, written almost like a magazine. And there's some more stuff we could get into, but I'd have to look at the back end and load your Google+. But I think initially we have a good mix of things done very well and another mix of things that could be heavily improved upon.
All right. Thank you, Blake. Robin, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I would say that I like the personalized pictures here. It's very clear that, it's a local business, that it looks like you're the owner here. It's a picture of you. And then, but I would confuse it with a law firm. So this could be, if I just looked at these two pictures, I would think it's a law firm, not an insurance agency. Maybe putting pictures that represent these in a slideshow up here. I get the 90s feel mostly because of these types of buttons, and the gradient is really harsh here. You got pixelation a little bit over here, and the text too is what it makes it look like a 90s website. But I do like that you've established trust in the first in the homepage by listing your services, having a personalized picture, and saying how many years you have been in business. So those are really the things that establish trust from not just a personal side, but also from Google. I would say that you just need a lot more content on your website. You need more words here underneath the picture. You need more text so that Google knows exactly what you're all about. And not everyone always lands on your home page. So if someone lands on one of these pages, you want to make it really clear what you do. And it's possible that someone can land on one of these pages and just go ahead and buy right from there. Like if there was a call to action here, like get a quote today on health insurance, I could easily click there instead of calling the number. So without pages for these, there's no chance that someone will land on those from Google. You're also missing a blog, so you definitely want to have a blog on these items and updates. This is a great industry for a blog because there's always constant updates on these items.
All right, so that's right. You just hit the nail on the head on what we wanted to mention is that, without having a page for these different types of insurance, he's not going to be able to rank for those pages, for those items, and people aren't going to be able to find him that way. So that's very important. Also, of course, for me, being the sales guy in the group, I want a big call to action, get a free quote, something like that right up on top somewhere, and I want it to be like a nice big button or something to get people to jump right in, and I don't see that here, so that's always a concern for me.
And this is also misspelled right here. So that takes away trust on your website right away if the front page has like major spelling errors.
Yes. So we definitely have some work to do here. And the other thing that of course, I would need to mention, because to me it's also one of the most important aspects as we look at these sites, is that I believe this site is not mobile friendly. And if you want to show us how we can check that.
Well, I can tell just by making it smaller as if it was on a mobile site, and none of the text is getting smaller and the images aren't stacking. But if you really want to check from Google, what we can do is put it in this mobile friendly test. So you can just Google search mobile friendly test, or the URL's right here. Just type in your URL, and I'll press analyze. And it looks like not mobile friendly. The reason why is because the links are too close together. So if you have a bigger finger, you can't really click on all of these. You'll click on other ones by accident. The text is way too small. You might be able to see it on this big monitor here, but on a desktop, it could look like, this big. So, or on a mobile phone. And also, you can take into account on a mobile phone, everyone has different size phones, so it's not going to look as good on some phones rather than others. So those are just a couple of little things. And then this one, mobile viewport not set. Paul, can you speak to that one?
Sure. So I was actually just checking the site on my real phone because I didn't expect it to look like it does on this screenshot here that Google provides. But it does actually, I'll hold my phone up to the screen. You can kind of see it down in the lower right-hand corner if you see it. So it does look like the regular site, but I have to zoom in to look. But mobile viewport not set essentially means there's nothing on the website that tells the website browser, how to format the website for that particular mobile device, whether it's a phone, a tablet, or any other kind of device that you could be using to look at the screen.
I see. I put the /index.html and then it came up.
Perfect.
Oh, okay.
That means it's in like a format from a while ago?
Well, yeah. So when you see that .htm on there, usually, not 100% of the time, but usually that means that the website is hard coded. So yeah, when I see the .htm or .php or .asp, it's kind of a indicator that the site could be hard coded. When you visit the website proper, so if you actually go to the website, does it just tack that onto the end when you go there?
Yeah, that's how I knew. I go to
Right.
here, and then it forwards to, like, if I were to.
Well, it looks no. Here, hit the home
Oh,
button. I bet
see,
you it
here it
happens.
did over here. Okay.
Or
Yeah.
so go back to the version without, and then hit the home button. I bet you it goes to the
Yep.
.htm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's indicative of a hard-coded site. That's kind of something that happens. So that's again from my experience making websites back in the '90s. That's a technique that I used. So another indication that the technique might be a little bit older.
All right. So bottom line here for me again, this, we really need to get John into a mobile site that can, mobile friendly site that people can see on the run, because that's where people are doing most of their searching. So all these other things, we would be something be taken care of as well. Getting the pages for each individual type of insurance, getting the call to action, doing some of the other things we talked about. And we always talk about a great video on the home page, John talking maybe a little bit about his business. Great way for you to build trust to the people that come on there. So we always like to see something like that as well. So that's pretty much, I think. Does anybody else have anything to add on the website? I think we've summed it up pretty well.
Yeah, you won't. You may not even show up when people look for you on their phone, because your score is not high enough and you're not mobile friendly. So you'll get different results if you're sitting in the same room and looking on the desktop and looking on your phone. You may not even show up on the mobile results, but you'll only be on the desktop. So that's another reason for why it's so important to be mobile friendly.
All right.
You
And
guys want to try and take a look at the local listing and maybe a couple search terms to see how he comes up?
yeah, I wanted to do that, but also while we're doing that, Paul, I think I was remiss in not really talking about anybody who's on the site watching the webinar. If they can type questions in, and we could correspond with them and address their issues directly if they have some. Also, if anybody besides John wants to let us know who's out there and see if they have any particular questions, we'd love to hear them as well. So now we're going to check and see if your business is listed on Google and you have your page set up the way we need it to be.
It doesn't look like you're there, but you can add your business info. So it looks like it is popping up on the map here and right there. And so let's go ahead and click that. Okay, someone else has already verified this listing. So if that's not you, that would be a big concern. Someone else has control of your listing and can put anything they want online. So make sure that you have control and that you have the username and password. So if someone did it a long time ago, maybe one of your former employees or partners did it a long time ago, definitely get that username and password. Otherwise, you'd have to click this button, which says Request Admin Rights. And then it'll bring you through a bunch of steps that will let you know how to claim your Google listing. Why is it important to claim your listing? Well, if anyone leaves you a good review or a bad review, you have the chance to respond to it. It also gives you an advantage to show up on Google when you're looking for, let's say, insurance. Insurance in, what was the town?
Wheeling.
Okay, insurance in Wheeling. In order to even be eligible to show up on here, you have to have your Google listing filled out, or at least be on the map. So we can see that you are down here. So you have to get in the top 3 spots in order to show up on here.
So Robin, since John's local, probably wouldn't be a bad idea for him to come to our Gaibo seminar next Wednesday in Lake Forest. I think I may have mentioned that to John, but we can probably help him get this cleaned up a little bit and get him on the right track, don't you think?
Definitely. You'll get a lot more details on how to fill out your Google My Business page the right way.
All right, so John, I that's on our website. I may have given you a flyer or talked to you about that. If not, you and I could talk, and we can get you over there, and we can get some of this taken care of. And then we want to get in to make sure that everybody who's listening, everybody who has a page, we got to get some 5-star Google reviews from your happy customers. And you can see most of the competition on here does not have 5. You see 1, you see none, you see 2. Once you get 5, you'll get your gold stars showing up there. And even if you're not rated, maybe you're rated 2nd or 3rd, you're going to get the calls anyhow when your stars show up because it grabs people's attention, lets them know people are liking what you're doing. So something that we definitely want you to be doing. It's an easy thing to do to get you where you need to be. We're seeing almost nobody on all these searches with stars. So if you had yours, John, you're going to make quite an impression. There you go. So there's an example of what it looks like. Now, if this listing was maybe 2nd or 3rd on this list, there's still a pretty good chance he's going to be getting the clicks because of his stars. So that's something that you can take care of once we get you straightened out, and that would be a great way to really start moving forward and getting some new traffic to you. So did we miss anything on the Google end, Robin?
There's a lot of different ranking factors in here, but reviews is definitely something that will boost you up, and just having more information on your website, especially a blog, so you can continue. What Google looks for is for continued new content, fresh content on your website, whether that's updating your service pages, adding frequently asked questions, adding blogs at least twice a month. All those things will help to boost you up on these local results in here. So yeah.
All right, so I think we have that covered. Are we seeing any questions coming up at all? No questions. All right.
Let's just go ahead and try something else here. How about we do health insurance in Wheeling? So you can see that it's slightly different results. Not a lot of people have these reviews. So if you just get 5 reviews, you're going to be ahead already of your competitors on that front. But you guys are all the way down. No, keep going. You can see that you're not popping up when we go here. So if this is a keyword that you want to rank for, health insurance in Wheeling, I mean, there are a few competitors, but some of these are not even anywhere near Wheeling. So if you are actually in Wheeling, you're going to get an advantage on Google Maps versus all these other guys that aren't even close to you. Let's look up something else. Let's try life insurance. So if you don't have these words on your website and a page on your website for life insurance, you're not going to show up for that. So you can see again, not a lot of reviews. I mean, there's huge opportunity here to just overtake your competitors online. And if I go down here, health and life insurance in Wheeling, I mean, you can see that there's just a couple of people in here, and I mean, you could get your Facebook page ranked here. If you have a YouTube video, you could get that ranked on the first page here pretty easily, because we can see that let's look at the competition by putting this in quotes. We can see how many web pages online there are for life insurance in Wheeling. Only about 2,000. That's pretty low competition. So you can probably within maybe a few months you can start ranking right away on the top of Google for this. We can even look at health insurance in Wheeling. I mean, similar kind of competition, and that's a great keyword for you to rank for.
Yeah. So I think it's safe to say that we got some work to do here, but that there's a lot of opportunities for him to really jump in here and really do well and get ranked in several of these areas with some some good work put in, some reviews, and some help with the website. Don't you think?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. So John, if you have any more questions on that, let us know, and we can take it from there. But that should give you a pretty good feel for where we are. Blake, did we miss anything?
I do not think we missed anything.
All right.
I can see how fast the website is since we got a couple.
That'll be good. That'll be good. That'll probably finish us off.
So what this website does, gtmetrics.com, it just takes your website. All you have to do is punch in your URL. It analyzes how fast the website is, which makes a huge, huge difference online. Since there's only a few pages on your website, I'm guessing it's going to be pretty fast. Yeah, it's 0.7 seconds. That's a great score. But once you start adding all these pictures, videos, other pages, this might go up a little bit. So you'd have to optimize all of your pages in order to keep this score down. You usually want to see a score of, 1 second or less here.
I'd like to make a comment on this because Brendan, our senior developer, and myself have been really looking at some of these different specific metrics. See where it says recommendation there, and the first one says leverage browser caching, and you got a grade of F0. Go ahead and open that one up. There's a little, you click on it, it'll show specific items that need to be addressed. Basically, what Brennan and I are doing is we're systematically going through all the different things that are problematic with websites across the board in these different areas and creating solutions that will get these scores to go from F to A+, so all the way to 100%. So we actually found a solution to this particular problem with something that we can add to what's called the htaccess file on the hosting account for the website. It's very technical, but it's just this little chunk of code. We put it right into the htaccess file, and it makes this jump up to an A. It only takes 2 minutes to do. But that's something that your host might not do, your web developer probably doesn't understand how to do or hasn't looked into, etc. But it is an easy fix that could give you a several point boost right away, and it could make your page speed score or Y slow score much higher. So it's just having that technical knowledge, knowing that it needs to be fixed, and actually doing it can make a pretty big difference.
All right, fantastic. And so I'm glad Paul jumped in. We didn't want to leave him out and let him, feel neglected over there. So I think now we're going to move on into our next person that we were going to have a look at today. And I know, Paul, you have the all the information on that one for Sandra's site.
Yes, you sent that over. Let me pull that up here, but we can still do our first impressions while I'm pulling that up. So, sure. Robin, you want to start with that?
Sure. So it looks like, okay, just from the pictures, it looks like something with dolphins. Maybe it's a museum. Maybe you swim with the dolphins. Let's see. I see books, store, forums. So it looks like they sell, okay, so they sell books about dolphins is my first impression. Let's go ahead and click on here. Song of Turand. Okay. So you can see it's been about 10-15 seconds and I'm still confused on what they sell. Read selected poems from Song of Turin. Okay, so they either sell a book or a poem. And I don't see that I can buy it here on the website. But my point is that I am still unsure what they sell until I see. Okay, now I'm going below the fold. So this is the fold right here where you can see before you scroll down. When I scroll down here, I can see, okay, an author, so it's definitely about a book. But let's see. So it looks like, I mean, I still am thinking it's books about dolphins. So if that's inaccurate, that is what your site is portraying right now. Your copyright date's good. You have definitely a sufficient links right here, so it's easy to get some places. Let's look at the blog really quick. I like the script here. It looks like a really nice modern website. Okay, so you don't have any blogs here. So I would at least take that down off of the site because that's what's live on your site right now. But if I wanted to buy this, instead of having books and store here, I would combine these pages. So right where the description is, why not just put this, go ahead and put that on one of these pages.
All right.
Yeah, looks like there's a few more books here that could be going under this menu right here.
All right. So Blake, what do you think about it? What are we saying?
Instead of the pull down menu, at least for my, oh, nope, I expanded it so it looks like it might be mobile friendly, which is a good positive. On the contact page, which is taking a moment to load for me. Still trying to load. Is anyone else having a problem with the contact page?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
You know what? Let's just throw the site into GT metrics and check the load speed while we're waiting for it to load.
So this is essentially a problem in itself as well. So if I came to your site and I clicked any one of these links and it takes this long
It's
to
still
load,
loading. Yeah.
I would be heavily turned off. So again, probably not Sandra's fault. It's more of the host she is using to host this website should most likely at this point be changed. I would like to see, I do see the email at the top left, but if you had a contact information on your header, the top right or top left, even centered, such as your phone number and even your contact address, that would be highly beneficial. Copyright date is current. That's great. It looks active and open. I'm still not getting any pages to load right now, which is quite an issue.
I've never seen that before. It was so slow that it timed out. So that could mean huge penalties for your site on Google.
And any potential viewer. So I agree with Robin on this.
Back to. So this is how you would fix that. It could be any number of these errors. But it's definitely probably your number one thing that you should fix is if people can't even get to your site, then whatever content on it doesn't matter.
I could jump in here and comment on this. I looked it up using a tool called Leaf DNS to find out where the site's hosted. It is hosted with GoDaddy, it appears, and usually GoDaddy has pretty decent hosting, but they do have a hosting option. And Robin, you could go ahead and pull up GoDaddy.com. Most people have jumped on the hosting option a long time ago, which was their deluxe or their simple hosting, but they do have a new package that's actually really, really good called their WordPress optimized hosting.
And we don't work for GoDaddy, so.
Yeah, we don't work for GoDaddy. So we actually offer our own hosting, but if you go up to the top under hosting, just click on that. That'll kind of drop down. They have regular web hosting, which is probably what she's on, but then they have this WordPress hosting. So if you click on that one, this is it says blazing fast, so you might want to just upgrade to this, and it's probably the same price if you just have one website, $3.99 a month, not that expensive. And see the first perk that's underneath there, it says 10 gigabytes SSD storage underneath the basic. That's a solid state drive. Anything in a solid state drive loads almost instantaneously. So moving to this hosting package will probably solve that issue almost instantaneously. So you just call up GoDaddy, tell them you want this instead, and you'll probably get a huge speed boost just by doing that.
And why does GoDaddy offer only WordPress?
What's that?
I would say, why does GoDaddy only offer WordPress? Because they're the majority of websites.
Well, there's not. Well, yeah. So first off, WordPress is probably responsible for about 60% of the websites in the world. So there's plenty of other platforms to build your website on, and that's why they have the regular deluxe hosting, because you can jump in and have like a Joomla site, a Drupal site, a hard-coded site like the one that we were looking at earlier on just a regular hosting package. So WordPress is becoming so popular that GoDaddy and HostGator and a lot of the other big providers are offering platforms that are specific to WordPress, that are optimized for WordPress to make WordPress load faster. So it's taking the internet world by storm. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of these big hosting providers are for creating these specific packages. Any luck on that page that was loading? The contact page looks like it might have loaded back there.
Not for me.
It's okay. On Robin's.
Nope, it loaded now.
All
That took
right.
a long time, though. I don't think anyone would wait that long.
Well, it is nice that she has a simple contact form. Even if she does not have a physical location, she might want to look into getting some sort of location that she can enter so she could put an embedded Google map in, rank a little higher, just appease the Google gods, and look a little more professional. I do see forums. I haven't been able to look at them, but if that's a place for people to chat and talk about our books and potentially bring in more customers, I do like that. Um, I agree with Robin that the books in the store can probably be combined to where it's one section, but you would still have a separate page for each one of your books so they could read more about it, but also buy it from, let's say, Amazon or her or maybe her house, wherever she stores a selection of them. She does have an about page, which is really nice. The color scheme is not bad, but I'd like to see a little variation in some color so everything is not just pure purple. I guess the footer is black and gray, which is better. I'm not seeing too many pictures besides just the pictures of the books. So maybe some pictures of people reading or enjoying her books, someone smiling, um, would be great. And yeah, she's got some social media links. Let's see if they actually go to her. Okay, that Facebook link is good. Twitter link, let's see. Seems to be good. All right, so some social media icons, always beneficial. Good for her. And at this point, without researching deeper into the back end of her site or Google Plus, that's my initial thoughts.
All right, fantastic. And what we really want to do, and I know Paul has the information to do that, we want to get in and have a look at the back end. One of the things that Sandra would like to do, I think she's in the process of finishing another book. So she wants to be able to add some things in here and just be able to, start to make some of the changes that you guys have all been pointing out, et cetera, and wanted us to be able to give her an idea on how things were built and whether that is going to need some work to make it, more user friendly for her and how we could help. So, Paul, you want to jump in on that?
Will do. So this page speed or this page loading issue is going to be a issue with even trying to do what we had planned here.
Okay.
I'm gonna let me see, present my screen, and I'm gonna share what I'm trying to do here. So I logged into the site, so I successfully logged in with the information that you got from Sandra. But the problem is here, I'm trying to load some of the pages, and they're just not loading. So this whole issue with GoDaddy, I mean, maybe the server that she's on today at this point in time while we're doing this this webinar is just slow now. I know I visited the site before. I didn't really have any problems, but this is a problem. I mean, I can't edit the site. I'm trying. This thing has been spinning up here for a while, and now I get a 404 not found, which doesn't make sense because the plugins page obviously exists. But I mean, just looking, I'm going to try and load it again. But just looking at the number of things that are in the left purple sidebar here, it's not purple in every WordPress, but it is here. We see WooCommerce and this is a plugin that's specific to selling products on a website. I see this Impreza as some sort of theme builder. I see this Ultimate, which is some sort of plugin that does something with scrolling, which doesn't seem like it's actually being used on the site, but it is activated. I see something about creating legal pages. It's a plugin that's activated. I didn't see it on the front end when you guys doing your review, and I don't see it working. Slider Revolution, which is probably something to do with that whole WordPress or that slideshow with the dolphins on the homepage, but I don't think that's necessary either. WordFence is a program that helps block clean up any sort of hacked website or spam on the website, but that's certainly certainly important one. But again, another plugin. We have something for replies, topics, and forums. So this looks like something maybe for a forum on the website, which I didn't actually see on the front end at all. So again, another couple or two or three or maybe one plugin that's not being used but activated. See this whole client logos thing. I don't see the purpose for this. So again, another plugin that might not be used, a portfolio item or a portfolio plugin. So there's all these plugins that are activated on the back end of the website, which could also be causing all these problems that are happening with the loading. So it might not just be GoDaddy. It could be that there's just a ton of plugins that are on the site that are causing it to slow down that aren't necessary on the website. So I see this anti-malware security and brute force firewall. So I don't think there's the necessity to have this and WordFence. WordFence does the same thing. So I see a lot of extra plugins that are probably causing the site to be really slow as well. So that's something that I think that if we eliminated some of these, I don't know what the rating is on some of these. So let's see if we take a look at this anti-malware. So I'm going to take the details here and see, is this a really well-rated plugin and how many people are using it? So I'm going to see if this data even comes up here. It's even taken a little while to come up. But whenever you install a plugin on a website, it's so important to make sure that, are there a lot of people rating it well? And how many thousands of websites have it loaded? I actually talked with a client earlier today that was questioning, should I have plugins on my website or shouldn't I? Which one should I trust, etc. So this one has 315 ratings. The average is 5 stars, and it's installed on over 100,000 sites. So is this a good plugin? Terry, what do you think?
Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, so I don't think this is the problem, but it is a problem having, and I know WordFence is really well rated, but you have two plugins that do the same thing. So get rid of one of them. So either buy into the one that's the anti-malware one or the WordFence, but don't have both. This WP Legal Pages, I don't know what it does or why it's in there. I've heard of Visual Composer. It's kind of like Beaver Builder, which is the one we use, but not as good or easy to use. But you got all these different plugins in here, and I think that's causing some of the speed issues. Back here, you also have all-in-one SEO, which we used to use for really optimizing each of the different pages on your website. Right now, we use Yoast SEO as the plugin to be able to optimize the metadata on the pages. But right here, just this snapshot here, I see that the plugin's not even being used. It allows you to easily update the SEO title, description, keywords, and see how there's nothing in all these different pages. So those are just not being used. So this plugin is activated. Maybe it's providing some value in terms of getting the analytics on the site or something like that, but there's so much more that could be done with this that's just not being tapped into right now. It looks like it came up right away, so here's the all-in-one SEO. So you got the main information for the page, but the main reason why somebody would install this and not optimize each individual page is to put the analytics on there, and that's not even being used. So we got a lot of stuff that's on here that's not being used in the back end, and a lot of opportunities that are being missed. A lot of extra plugins that shouldn't be there. So definitely some issues with the website from a back end perspective. This is something that we don't really cover very often in our webinars because we don't have the opportunity to get into somebody's site, but it offers some unique insight that we don't normally cover in the webinars. Terry, you got some questions for me on this?
I do actually. I know. As I said, Sandra was looking to be able to, maybe learn how to do some of these things and, put some new pictures, add in a new book, et cetera, et cetera. So I know you may have answered this question, but I'm going to go in there anyhow. You and I had looked at a WordPress site for a client yesterday that wasn't set up appropriately to make her able to easily make these changes. It sounds like we're in the same situation. Is that the Beaver Builder aspect that you were talking about previously?
Yeah, I'd love to kind of jump into that. So, okay, so let's say I do want to edit the home page on Sandra's website here. Well, first off, I can't even find a page that's called home. Hold on. There's multiple pages here, so let's see. Seems like you got a whole bunch of pages that aren't that are live, that aren't being used, which also could cause some Google problems because you have a ton of pages that don't have any content. Okay, home, full page sections. I'm going to do what Robin usually does, just search home and see how many home pages we have. There's more than one. So we have home, full screen sections, home, full screen slider, home landing page, home parallax. So I don't know which one of these is the home page. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to visit the home page here on the front end of the site, and I'm going to click edit page, and I'm going to find out which one of those options is actually the home page. And it actually isn't any of those four that I just pointed out.
It was the one at the bottom. Yeah.
It's called Sandra Valencia is the homepage, and they're using Visual Composer. So if we look at this versus what the homepage actually looks like, see it says Revolution slider, icon box, icon box, icon box, icon box. Then we have this welcome, and then we have empty space, single image, and then Sanders accomplishments, icon box, icon box, icon box, and then action box. So if I look on this, we can kind of see how that's how this whole thing is set up, right? We have these icon boxes, we have single image, we have this welcome message, etc. The problem is I got to go back and forth to edit this page. So if I were to change something in this box here, clicking and nothing's happening, maybe I got to hit this edit pencil, and then this is going to come up. It allows me to change something that's in there, and I hit save here, then update here, and then I can refresh this and update the page. What's cool about Beaver Builder is I can actually edit the front end of my website right there. So I'm going to show you how that works. Let me pull up awesomedynamic.com, and I'm going to go ahead and log into my website. I'm already logged in, so I'm going to go to the home page. I'm going to show you what the front end of the home page looks like. All right, so the home page is loading here, and we're going to see that, I have all these different circles are on here. The slideshow's on here. I got, here's why we're awesome, a video of me talking about it. I got this little slider, etc. So I'm going to show you what happens when I use the Beaver Builder, which is our page editing software. I'm actually able to just take this item here, and if I want to move this icon over here, I can just drag this item over here, and I'm going to put the web-friendly one. I'm just going to drag it over there. And if I want to edit this, I just click on it. And I'm not having to look at the back end to try and figure out which thing I'm changing. I can just see it on the front end, which is amazingly easy. So then I can change, okay, this is the title, so if I change it here, watch what happens. Web design, made easy. So you can see it changing right behind there, and we can see what it's going to look like before I even save or publish it, which is incredibly useful. So, hey, I want to put this video, let's say underneath, here's why, and I want to put my little testimonials guy over here. Okay, I just made those changes. Here's the webinar that we're doing right now. Okay, I'm done with the webinar for the 31st. I'm going to close this one out, and I'm just going to get rid of it, or maybe I'm going to move it to the end here, and I'm going to move these other two over because these are the next two. So this is what my assistant does after each one of the webinars. Then move these over, and then I'm going to put the 31st back over here, and I'm going to take this one and put it right back there. I'm going to hop into this one, change the information in the link in this particular thing to the one that's going to be after the 21st. I'm going to edit this information, go to the call to action button, put the link to where the next webinar is right here, hit save, update. Now the front end of the website's updated. So I can edit each one of these items on the home page super easy just by hovering and dragging different items around, and most web page editors don't have that ability. So I'm not going to save this. I'm going to hit done and discard changes so I don't mess up the front end of my website. But that's how easy it is to update and edit your site using this Beaver Builder page layout software that we use for our clients. So you can see that to update Sandra's website, I gotta figure out what these things are and how they correlate to what's on the front end, and it's just way easier to just do that on the front end to begin with. So is that if we were able to do that yesterday at the meeting, Terry, if we didn't have so many problems with their Wi-Fi there, they'd be able to see the advantage of being able to do that versus what they had originally, don't you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. So in this particular case,
Mm-hmm.
I guess my question, because we're going to be, dealing with this with Sandra down the road. I mean, are we okay? Can this thing be cleaned up? I mean, by getting a lot of things off air and making some changes, is it going to be more work than it would be worth to? Should it be started over? Can it be worked with? What are your thoughts on this particular site and where it is as far as getting it to where it needs to be?
This one, it's already in WordPress. It's going to be easy to install Beaver Builder and kind of convert some of that content on the pages over. It looks like she only really has 1, 2, 3, 4. There's some things under legal here. I don't know if any of this stuff is actually It's just okay. So it's just some paragraph copy. So I think these pages are going to be really easy to convert over. So we're going to want to make it so it's easy for her to get into these pages and update them. I see that there's just a ton of pages in the back end that I don't think are actually being used anywhere on the website. So I think we can actually remove a lot of those so they're not causing any thin content penalties. So yeah, I think we can work with what she's got and really clean it up and make it easy to use for her to use it very easily, not necessarily just for us, but even if she has us do it, it's going to be easier for us to make updates if it's in a format that's just easy for anyone to update. And yeah, we definitely work with what she's got.
All right, that's good news. That's good news. So, all right. So, really, she's got a bunch of cleaning up to do because there's probably a lot of things on there that don't need to be on there anymore. And just switching it over, and then we'd be able to put it in a position where either her or us can help her make the changes she's looking to make.
Right. Now, one thing I want to go back to, and Robin did a very good first impression because she's like, I see dolphins. Is this aquarium? What did they do? I'm scrolling from this. That's that place. That slideshow that's there, although it may be very meaningful to your target audience once they understand what you do, the key here is we want to communicate what you do immediately to the person who doesn't know what it is that you do. Do we want them to buy books? Do we want them to call you? What is it that we want them to do? Does the slideshow tell the story immediately? Do I understand what you're about within 3 to 5 seconds? And right now, I'm kind of torn. You know, do we? Is this about a book or going to the authors? If there is something about the book or the authors, we want that stuff right there in the slideshow, so I understand that without a doubt within the first 3 to 5 seconds. It is critical, and that's what Robin was kind of demonstrating with her first impression, trying to figure out what exactly you do, because we didn't tell her about you, Sandra, before we started this, and she was truly trying to figure out what you did. And you know, to be honest, the millennials that are out there, they're going to give you 3 seconds, and if they can't figure it out, they're moving on. So, and you know, the way the world's moving today, people just don't have the patience to spend the time to figure it out. They need to be told instantly what it is that you do.
Like one option would be if you have the dolphins in the background here, that's totally fine. But then, you know, in the right corner or something, put a picture of a book.
Right. So, and then say, you know, just legends from Turlan, you
Or
know,
the new book.
yeah, the new book or something about the book. I don't have anything that's telling me about the book in the main center area where I have the dolphins, the water. I need to know that this is something about a book. And right now, without reading the word books, and you saw on Robin's screen, books didn't even come up underneath. You know, we got to get that whole book idea out there that you're an author and you sell books, and we need to communicate that within just seconds. Terry, back to you.
All right, very good. So I think we've summed that up pretty well. So we'll get this over to Sandra, and she'll have something to take a look at and think about. But the good news is that everything she's looking to do can be done and won't be that much of a problem. So she'll be in good shape. We'll get her cleaned up. So at this point, I think we're getting ready to sort of close up. If we don't have any questions on our screen today, and we do always encourage when you join our webinar, if you have any thoughts or questions, we'd love to hear from you, and you can just type those questions in for us. If we go back to our homepage, we can sort of sum everything up.
I will do that.
All right.
The homepage that I did not edit. There it goes.
I was asking if you could put my picture like right up front and center if you were gonna.
That's right. So yeah, I could just come down here and drag Terry's picture. Where is he? There he is. Drag him all the way up to the top, right?
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good. Yeah, so I just want to sort of thank everybody for coming again. I want to remind everybody that we are doing responsive web design, so we can make your new website for you, make sure it's mobile friendly. We do search engine optimization. We will get you found once you have a beautiful site. We need to get traffic to the site, which will turn into customers for you. We can help you on Amazon with selling your products. We can also do Google virtual 360 tour for you, let everybody get a good preview of what your business looks like, and help with your SEO on that end as well. We hope that you liked our webinar today, and if you did, we'd love you to go to the bottom of our page here or to your Google Maps app and give us a 5-star Google review. You can also review us on Facebook. We'd love that as well. And I do want to say at the end here, we would be remiss probably if we didn't mention that Roz, one of our family, lost her father yesterday. And I just think we should say we all send our best that way. May his memory be a blessing. And all sorry to hear that. Want to make sure we mention that while we're on here. And I think that's it. Does anybody have anything else they want to close with?
I also wanted to mention, some prayers for Blake's grandmother who recently passed as well. So we did have 2 folks in the Awesome Dynamic family that lost some people that were important to them. So we wish them the best, and our thoughts are definitely with them.
Thank you. Appreciate
Absolutely. So again, thank you for joining us this week. We have a webinar every single Thursday. Next week's going to be 12:30 Central Time. And Terry, great job today. Thank you for leading the webinar. And we will, and Terry will be leading the webinar next week without me. So good job, Terry. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it.
All
it.
right.
Absolutely. Great job, Terry.
All right. All right. We're gonna sign off. See you guys.